Hey everybody, welcome to She Crypto. Today I'm very excited because we have a special co-host with us, and this is Yonda. You all may know her from our social media and from other events, and last year at the Bitcoin conference and the SEC, a little bit of everywhere. And she is actually going to interview us today. But first, Yonda, can you tell everybody who you are and what and what all you've been doing, because you do more than She Crypto.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to be here. And first and foremost, I want to say that I am the DMV, that's the DC, Maryland, Virginia liaison for She Crypto. So, what that really entails is we go to events, we talk to leaders in the community. And so there's an overlap to exactly what I do with Genius Room, where I spotlight high net worth individuals doing incredible things around the world. And so oftentimes I go to events and I talk with individuals. I do a lot of community activations with large organizations, small organizations to really empower people to understand the technology, how it's going to be used, education. And I talk with government officials regarding why they want to vote for whether it's infrastructure laws, staying close to the policy changes that are taking place. So I'm really excited. And I'm also a co founder for Inventory, and we're White Hat Marketing. Yep, that's a little bit about who I am.
Yeah, and you were just with Stand with Crypto in Baltimore. I was looking at your posts and photos and out there getting people involved. And also we met at the SEC, right? Which is like kind of a crazy way to meet, really. And then next thing you know, we're in Vegas. So at the Bitcoin conference. So, and I just remember when we were driving around. Well, you were driving because you had a car, and then we had all this stuff we were taking from the Bitcoin conference to the Litecoin summit and the brunch and everything that we were doing out there. And I remember somebody was saying something. I mean, I guess I'll just never forget this. And I just wanted to mention it because somebody was saying something and like they thought that maybe like we wouldn't wait on them. They had to like go do something somewhere, and we were in the car and they thought we wouldn't, wait or something. And you said something, you're like, wait a minute, I just found my people. You think I'm gonna leave you now? And you're like, so I thought that I thought that'll always stick with me because that's how I feel too. And I feel like, through a lot of things that we've been doing with She Crypto and Women in Bitcoin, Women in Blockchain Fund and everything, that we're meeting our we're finding our people, our tribe, our vibe and all of that. And then Laura, you all actually haven't officially met yet. So this is how
No,
you're
not
meeting
yet.
virtually. Yeah.
Not yet, but
Yeah.
I do follow Yonda closely on LinkedIn and X, and I see what she's doing, and I love it, Yonda. I love that you're so out there attending these events. I try to do the same myself on this side of the pond. So I'm based in Spain and try to do the events that are around me. But yeah, I totally agree. I love to network in real life. It will never replace online will never replace in real life, the connections that you make. And it's so exciting just to nerd out because when you zoom out, we're like, I'm talking about myself, and I know that Kelly is this way as well. We're just 100% like into blockchain, and we read about blockchain. It's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's like blockchain, crypto. And then you zoom out and, the majority of the population has no idea, but you go to these events and you connect at such a cool level with people who are just as interested as you are, and seeing the women there as well is incredible.
Even actually, we didn't meet at the SEC. I was thinking we met at Paul's event. Yes, and I keep thinking I always think we met at the SEC in my mind with because like I'm always thinking about Hester,
Yeah.
and everything, and like, but no, actually we met at Paul's event, the privacy Zcash guy, and so I remember you came over to me and you were like, "Hey," and you're like, "Us girls gotta stick together." And I was like, "Yeah," but there weren't a lot of girls, like, so, or a lot, not a lot of women, and at these events too. So it was kind of like, "Oh, good," yay.
You made it easy though, Kelly. You allowed for me to come over and talk with you and like we started exchanging information. I got an opportunity to network with you at PGP. And so I was just at an event yesterday with them and kind of this whole coalition and everything regarding Bitcoin and just understanding what's happening and like staying abreast to the laws. And Laura, I follow your journey as well. You're doing incredible. I love it. Like you're out there and you're just fearless while you're out there doing what you do. So it's a pleasure to be associated with you and to be a part of the same organization. Kellyanne, you know, hands down, you're like, excuse me, she's my girl. Like, this is my sister. And like, to have that energy, like she brings that fire, that passion for women and Bitcoin and crypto and events and having that voice in the room and that's what I love. Like, I'm like, yep, I'm supporting her all the way. We're going to get it. Okay, I might be there vicariously, but I'm with you. Go, girl, go. And that's what I love. And so we have to have that presence. And that's why I'm glad that I get an opportunity to just kind of reconnect with you both and to talk with you about the future and what you're seeing when you're out there as well. That's really cool. So I love you so much, Kelly.
I love you too. And we know what? And we talked about our love on the stage at Bitcoin Futures Conference in Miami. And everybody was like, I could feel the love. And then they're like, yeah,
This is
yeah,
true.
yeah, we're all like family. We're all like family.
Absolutely. So, like, you all have been around and you've been at these conferences, right? And so the latest conference has been in what, BTC, is it Prague? And so I know that you all have a perspective, and I want to ask y'all some questions today. And the first question, if you don't mind, is like, this is like the unfiltered experience. Since you both attended BTC Prague on your own terms, rather than having official media partners. How did that shift your perspective? Like, what did you notice or experience that the mainstream media headlines completely missed?
We did do a breakfast event, but like we didn't do anything officially, with them. And we want to, but we didn't. But it's kind of nice though to go to events sometimes I think as, ourselves and a person, and then we can just, network and enjoy the event instead of like, having to like, work, 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 work. So I felt like we made a lot of good connections. Oh, and
Yeah.
it was fun too. I just have to say, because we got like an apartment in like the historic area near the clock. And so I felt like we got to like, I don't know, sort of experience some of like the community there and like just like I don't know, the prog vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree. When you go in your own terms, you don't have those media obligations. You kind of flow. Well, let's go meet some people through the app, and then schedule some meetings. But that's flexible. Or let's walk around the booths. Met some incredible people doing different things. It was very enriching and also very interesting because we're supposed to be in the middle of this bear market, right? But the event was very strong. People were very bullish. I did have one conversation that it talked about the price of Bitcoin and where it was going. So that's also, very good news. And then just, people believe in this. We believe in this. And I love to as well see that women were also in attendance. And, the breakfast that we held at Old Town Prague was also fantastic. We had some coffee, some pastries. It was fantastic just to be able to do that. We kind of did it last minute, and we want to do it for next year, hopefully with doing something bigger together with the event itself. But it was fantastic. It was in the middle of the old town, and we just want to go bigger and better for next time so we can reach more women and have them be in the conversation and just get to know each other.
Yeah, and also, I was just gonna say, like, we didn't think we were going to go this year. So I went 2 years, and then it was kind of a last minute decision because I got this email that I thought was spam, and it was like, "Hey, the co-founder of Bitcoin Prague wants to invite you to this event." And I was like, "What event?" And so, there was this VIP event that happened with all the sponsors and the speakers. So at first I thought I'm being punked. This is spam. What is this?" But they actually, invited me as like a guest to go to this thing. And I didn't know where it was, what it was. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, if it's fake, I'll figure it out. And so then I realized, okay, it's not fake. It's like real. And so I was like, Laura. And I was like, do you want to go? And it was really interesting because then I found out the location and everything. They put me on the list and they're like, it's at Prague Castle, but it's in the palace. And I was like, what? And so for me, that was interesting. I kind of, went out of curiosity and then I got there and it's like Adam Back is there and Michael Saylor's there and Jack Mahler's and like all these guys. And like everyone I bumped into was like a billionaire or like had hundreds of millions of dollars or they helped fund the ICO of Ethereum or something. So, and like, to walk up this huge hill and I was like out of breath and I went in there and like, you were with me, like, it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I finally got in there and then I just remember needing to charge my phone and sit down, and I sat down by this guy who basically, like, launched Ethereum and, like, with Brock Pierce, and I was like, "I'm out of breath, I'm out of breath. What have you done? What have you done in your life?" And then every person I talked to, I realized, "Oh, you're a billionaire." And so I just started being like, "Can you teach me? Can you teach me?" And so that was a lot of fun. And then yeah, and then when we went to the actual VIP day, the next day at the conference, that was cool too because we were also got to be in like the like VIP area and yeah, and we met a lot of like interesting, really, really interesting people. Laura might be able to talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You just have the coolest characters, I feel like, in the Bitcoin ecosystem. The VIP experience was fantastic. We got to be very close to, very relevant people. Michael Saylor taking the stage, and that was right after Strategy sold the 32 Bitcoin that they were bashed about, and he was addressing that. And he's always so eloquent, and it's very interesting to hear his takes on things. So that was pretty cool. Also, listening to other speakers there, and then the people that were there, it was just very, very cozy. And we met, people who are in the security space, like cold wallets and miners, and even authors as well. So just a very diverse group of people, and even just we met women. Remember Lily, Kelly? We met Lily, and she's an investor and she loves this space. And she's like, well, my husband doesn't, he doesn't believe in this, but I love it. So he's in the hotel room, and I'm here. And it's fantastic to hear her story. She's going to be in different parts of the world attending these Bitcoin conference. So you meet a lot of people that really believe in the essence of what it means to be a Bitcoiner. And it was just incredible, and an incredible opportunity to be able to attend with Kelly and She Crypto.
That leads me into my next question because that was fantastic. I felt like I was there. I feel the energy and the excitement and just from how you've described it, which is very important to the listeners, why it's important to get to these events because you're making memories right now, and that's incredible. You talked about the woman, right? And you talked about her love and her passion and her story for crypto and Bitcoin specifically. So the shift in the room, that's what I'm calling this. Like,
Yeah.
as women that are navigating a major international blockchain space independently, right? What was that energy like? Did you feel a shift in how women are occupying space, leading conversations, or building networks at these massive global events?
Well, there weren't a lot of women. I'll just start there. So, that's one thing that we want to help with. We want to help get more women out to these events. But,
Yeah.
the women who were there, yeah, I mean, they're, building, they're doing a lot. There was Lisa. So you might want to talk a little bit about Lisa because we're partnering with her organization. And she did a side event that was really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead, Kelly.
No, I was just saying, so the Mandarin Oriental, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, she's an educator from Switzerland, and she pulled together an event. Hers was kind of last minute too, and it was amazing.
Hmm.
And there were, I think it was 80, right? Were there 80 of
Yeah,
us?
80
Yeah.
women, 80 women. It apparently it sold out, and it just speaks of the demand that there is. There's women like Lisa, like us, who just we take a bet, and we get proven that women want to attend these events. They want to network with each other, and we should keep doing them and go bigger for next time. But yeah, the Satoshi event was fantastic. Met some very high quality connections. They're very interesting women from all over. So had great conversations there.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did meet with, the Bitcoin Prague team, and we were talking to them, because like, they realize, yes, we need everyone, I think, realizes we need more women, right, in the
Yeah.
space, and so, yeah, they were really receptive, and yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool to get their input.
hmm Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think everyone agrees. Just the decision makers at these events just need to be like, yes, like where do I sign? What do we need to do? Like what are the next steps? Because I think it's very evident to everyone we talk to that people want to see more women at these events. And I'll share with you, Yonda, in our community a little anecdote. So I was talking to this person that I met at the VIP at Bitcoin Prague, and he's like, the typical, so what are you doing here? What are you, what do you do? And then what are you about, right? And I explain, and he didn't get it, and he goes, but why? So I politely, with a smile, I explain that, we need to have more women because X and Y. And then he's like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. So at the end, we're like saying our goodbyes, whatever. Nice to meet you, exchanging contacts. And he's like, by the way, I'm looking for an operations director. Do you happen to know a woman? Because we're looking for a woman. And I'm like, you see, if we had more women here, you'd probably meet your operations or COO right here. And we're trying to make that happen. He's like, oh, so he he was like joining dots as the minutes passed, talking to me. So that was pretty cool. And then that kind of proves the point, right?
It really does. And congratulations for helping him see maybe a blind spot that needed that additional visibility, right? And so you also identified in both of your conversations about the presence of women and the willingness for She Crypto to be a part of your journey and your event. So if you're listening to our podcast and you're interested and you're like, man, they're the coolest chicks out here in crypto. That's right. We are She Crypto. Then go ahead and reach out to us and talk to us. We want to be a part of your journey. We want to help more women understand this industry. Okay, but here I go again. I love what you all are doing. I'm so proud of you. So let's bring it home, right? So this will be probably my final question for you. And this final question is called Bringing It Home. So taking off that corporate or media lens and just looking at the human element of what it is that we do. What is the biggest lesson or inspiration you brought back across the pond that you're ready to inject into your own communities and work right now? And how does these feel for the vibe of the show? Just tell me that.
I mean, I can go. So when I was at the palace, the thing that was like super, I don't know. I mean, I mean, we know this, but it always helps to see something that and, like, see it again, and then you're like, "Oh, yeah." But, I view us all as equals. I don't care if you're a billionaire, I don't care if you're, invested in this or that or whatever, man, woman, whatever. And when I was at the palace, it was really interesting because Michael was up on the stage speaking, talking, and, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm sitting here with Adam back over here. And like, and then Jack Mallers was sitting there. He didn't have on a hoodie, by the way. He dressed up a little. And so, but when it was time for the Q&A, the one guy who's my new friend, the one who invested in the ICO for Ethereum and all kinds of other things. Like he's been on CNBC. He was showing me his clips. I was like, show me more. And like he wanted to ask a question. So he was telling me he's going to ask a question. I was like, okay. And, but then the next person, cause you always think when the Q&A comes up, it's just going to be like, the regular people or whatever. So then Jack Mallers gets up and asks a question. Okay. And then he gets up again. He wants to ask another question. And then but, like, it just made me see, it's like, it doesn't matter, who you are, what you're doing, how much money you have or whatever, there's Jack Mahler's one Ask Michael Saylor a question, you know? And then like, so I mean, we're just all regular people. And so, and it was just kind of funny, just, kind of like seeing some of these people like who you are a big deal, or like, people think they're a big deal, but like not fan, how people say fangirling or fanboying or being fans or whatever to like these other guys. So then you're just like, really? Am I watching this right now? Yeah. So we're basically all the same. So I think it's good to remember that. And no matter who you are, where you are, we all started somewhere, right?
And you know what, Kelly? I think that more merit to the people who come from very, challenging places and then make it, that is incredible, and we love to see that. So Yanda, to answer your question, what lesson am I bringing back? So I think that it's very obvious that access and just the access and the just being able to be a part of these conferences is still very unevenly distributed. It's very obvious when you walk into rooms, especially the higher up you go into the rooms, like Kelly's participation in the Bitcoin Corporate Day at the Palace. And that's exactly why She Crypto exists. And that's exactly why the Women in Bitcoin and Blockchain Fund that we have also exists, because we are actively working and pursuing partnerships and sponsorships with conferences and companies that want to make a difference and that want to help us in that mission. We think it's going to, it's eventually going to happen. We're just trying to, make it happen faster because we want to see it now. We want to see it now. And that's, I think it was very obvious, and it just reinforces our mission to keep doing what we're doing and to do it at a bigger scale, and to keep meeting with these conferences, events, summits, you name it, so that we can have these spaces and we can bring women to these rooms.
Yeah.
Excellent responses. Excellent. And so I like the fact that we're all on the same even playing field. On if you have an inspirational story, go ahead and share it with others, empower, and the partnership and the sponsorship I think is just spot on as well. So as you look at events coming down the pike, I'm going to encourage everybody, if you're thinking about it, if you already have something on the books, and you want people like She Crypto on the main stage, right? I want you to reach out and talk with She Crypto about how we can service and work together collaboratively. Ladies, this has been incredible. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting a recap and empowering others. If you're thinking about, should I go to that event? You heard the reasons why you want to show up, why you want to be in the room, the people that you meet. I think that's so important for you all to just kind of download those things and then continue to show your support towards She Crypto. If you're listening to the interview, make sure you share this with others so that they can understand the great work that She Crypto is doing in the community. Oops, excuse me, in the United States. Oops, excuse me, in the world. Thank you so much. I'm Yanda, and it's been a pleasure to interview you ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Yonda. And I'll be seeing you soon.
Sounds good. Excellent.
We're already making plans for another blockchain futurist stage.
Absolutely. My gosh, how much fun is that going to be?
Mhm.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
The energy. Oh,
Mhm. And
wow.
ladies, if you don't have a passport, get one.
Yes.
That's what that's my other reminder to everyone. So if you want to join some of the things that we're doing this year or next year, get your passports.